Here's everything you need to know about Sony's latest microphone, the ECM-W3. So the first thing I'd like to note about this microphone set is it is very similar to the W2B2, very identical in design, only this is just a little bit smaller. In this kit, you get yourself two transmitters and one receiver. Along with that, you also get two vinyl bags to put all your little pieces in, as well as a charge case to place the stuff in. Now, here's the charge case right here. Now, this is actually a pretty cool looking charge case. I can simply throw my mics and receivers into here and not have a problem. It is a magnet-based case, and as you can see, when I place the microphone in like so, it does show a little charge light. Now, unfortunately, there is no way of properly checking the charge on this case in itself, so I can't press a button and see if I need to charge the case, but you can charge the case via the USB-C port here. Now, it's a pretty cool looking little case and a very new addition, and yeah, I like it. You also get two windshields which attach to the microphones via the jack port, and you get a little mic stand with a thread on it, so if whatever is in your camera has to have a cage around it, or is it just a bit more complicated than simply hooking this microphone up to the hot shoe, well, then you've got this little mic stand here to solve that problem. In terms of the design of this microphone, it's very straight up simple. You got your on and off switch on the side here. You also have a attenuator switch on the side, which we'll get into later, as well as a noise cut feature here, which again, I'll show you some examples of. Now the way the clip works is you got the microphone at the top here, but you do have to pretty much line the microphone directly up with your sternum. I do find this a little bit awkward in some cases, particularly when you're wearing, well, something like this with buttons and all that, so it's not directly lined up, it's kind of just sticking out. So if you have a V-neck or just a simple collared t-shirt, this works great, but personally I find on button-ups, this is a bit of an awkward placement, and it's also a bit difficult to sort of hide for more subtle recording. So I do recommend investing in a lavalier microphone and attaching it to this microphone if you want something a little bit more subtle or a bit less trouble in terms of placing this mic around your lapel. Now, something else that is cool about this microphone is you do actually have a MI hot shoe on the receiver. Now, this basically means that this is a cordless free sort of recording for your microphone setup. So you don't have to worry about a little jack port cable that you have to plug in and potentially lose an even smaller piece to this kit. And it also completely removes any risk of snagging with the cables. So you simply just plug this microphone receiver in and you're good to go. That building's old as fuck. Speaking of old, unfortunately with this microphone, you might notice when you put it on that the microphone doesn't work with the Sony A7 III. The receiver will just go as unrecognized. A way around this is you simply flick the trigger from digital to analog. So if you want to use this microphone kit on all the cameras, do make sure to test out the analog function to ensure that this microphone is working with your camera. And also, as is obligatory, especially if you're running out inside some very crazy sort of situations, this kit is also dust and moisture resistant. So you can get a little bit wet provided you wipe it off, and you can work in much drier, more arid climates with this kit. So the battery charge on this microphone is up to 6 hours, which is actually a tremendous improvement in regards to the WTBT, as that had only 3 hours, but 6 hours, so you have twice the amount of time to use this microphone. Now, in terms of audio quality, the audio quality is pretty bloody good. You got a sample rate of 48 kilohertz at a 24-bit depth, which is not 32 bits, so you don't have that room for clipping. But again, you have all these sort of functions that help to make this microphone very quiet. So it is, you know, an ideal microphone in that regard. Something else that's really cool is that on the microphone, as I noted, you do have an attenuator function on the side of the microphone. Now this ranges from negative 20 dB to 10 dB to 0 dB. So if you find the situation's a bit loud or you're clipping with your audio, you simply adjust the trigger here and you're fixed. One thing I'm not a fan of with the attenuator is it is very much set to 0, 10, 20, whereas some other mics you might have the option to more subtly adjust it by a point here and there. But for most people, they generally are going to switch from drastically 0, 10 or 20 dB anyway. What I found when I plugged the receiver into the Sony A7 IV is that I could not adjust the microphone volume on the camera. I could only really adjust the attenuator on the microphones here. So do keep that in mind. I do personally like setting this to negative 20 dB, which does seem a little quiet, but fortunately this microphone also does have a high signal to noise ratio, so it does pick up a lot more quieter noises. So if you have a very quiet voice or a very quiet subject, or you've got to keep your voice down because you don't want to get caught because you're shooting here when you probably shouldn't be, well then this high signal to noise ratio on these microphones is fantastic.
Okay, so now I'm outside with the microphone on me using the Sony A7 IV. Another great showcase of this microphone as well. We're in a very noisy place right now. I have a bus that just drove past me. I've got a construction truck behind me. It is incredibly loud and very noisy. So what I like to showcase here is the, well, noise cut feature. So on the side here, you do have a little noise cut feature. Now this can be a low cut for your low frequencies, or it can be a noise cut which basically cuts out a lot of that busy background audio and focuses in on your voice. So this is the noise cut feature. It's basically all the way out the trigger, so it's a very quick flick. I have a bus going past. This is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like with the noise cut filter off. So this is what it sort of sounds like right now with the noise cut off again, and with the noise cut on, this is what we're sort of working with. So if you can see any sort of difference here, it basically does reduce it and focus a lot more on my voice. And for the sake of it, let's go to low cut. So this is off for me, and low cut setting. Now low cut is sort of like in between noise cut and off, so you do have to be a bit more conscious when flicking the trigger, but what I like about noise cut is I can just quickly flick it on like so, and I'm where I need to be.
Now I'm just going to try out the low cut noise in a more quieter space, so this is how I currently sound. And this is with the low cut. So this is low cut. This is off. And this is noise cut, which I've had on for the majority of this review.
Something great about this audio kit is if you're worried about the volume suddenly becoming incredibly high because you saw something shocking like snake, you don't have to worry about it because this microphone fortunately records a secondary safety track. This means that the audio is 20 dB lower than your primary audio. In order to activate this, you simply press the safety button on the back of your receiver. Now personally, I do find that -20 is a bit low, but given the sensitivity of this mic, you probably do want that sort of lowness when recording the safety track. Something else to note about this microphone kit is that it's able to operate at least 150 meters away from the camera. So you can be sure that if you say want to shoot a very wide shot but still maintain that audio, you can do so with this microphone kit. If you are worried about the microphone sort of disconnecting from your receiver and you don't have a 150 meter tape measure with you, fortunately you do have a little link light on the top of your microphone here. This will flick off when basically you fall out of the zone. So you don't have to worry about necessarily losing frequency when recording with this microphone. Simply look to the light for your indication.
Okay, so that's the ECM-W3. Let us know what you think of this microphone in the comments below.